news, everyone! Hey everybody, it's Grim. I hope you're all good. Yes, we have some awesome news come out from Blizzard, and that is all of the loot from Blackrock Foundry was top level Apexis gear or ethereal gear, and the stage 4 crafted loot is receiving a bump of +5 to its eye level. This is awesome news. It will also retrospectively affect the gear that you're currently wearing. And if you suddenly got rid of a bit of gear, you're like, holy shit, I just deleted that yesterday, and now the gear's changing, and actually that would have been good when it was bad, fuck. You can actually go back, and you can request an item be undeleted and given back to you, which is cool. But what have Blizzard got to say about this? This is the blue post from Blizz. We are preparing to deploy a hotfix next week, that is tomorrow, for us in the UK, that will increase the item level of all raid drops from all difficulties of the Blackrock Foundry raid. The main purpose of this change is to ensure that killing new bosses in the Blackrock Foundry raid feels appropriately rewarding. We are finding that groups coming out of a couple of months of armour could often have an average item level that was just barely shy of the loot dropped by the appropriate difficulty in Foundry. A core part of the experience progressing through a new raid tier lies in the sense that even if you don't manage to kill a particular boss this week, the upgrades your raid group gathered along the way will make things smoother and improve your chances the following week. This change will be retroactive, affecting existing items that players may have in their possession. Thus, instead of an item level range from 650 for LFR, 665 for normal, 680 for heroic, and 695 for mythic, the loot reward will now be item level 655 for LFR, 670 for normal, 685 for heroic, and 700 for mythic. At the same time, we will be increasing the item level of the new highest tier crafted and Apexis vendor items by 5 in order to keep the power unchanged relative to the Foundry raid itemization. This is awesome news. This is really, really, really good news. But there's more. So before we all start chatting and we all start getting excited about this, let's read what else Blizzard have to say, because a lot of people were confused about this. When you go through a series of learning attempts and wipes to defeat a new boss for the first time, you expect consummate reward for doing so. Many players coming out of 2 months in armour were in a situation of having to work to learn and defeat new bosses that dropped loot of roughly the same quality as what they were already wearing. This isn't satisfactory and doesn't allow for much power progression. Second, the primary point of this change is not to nerf Foundry encounters. If that were the goal, it would have been much simpler to nerf the encounters, and we've taken a more surgical approach to specific encounters. The aim is strictly to improve the reward side of the difficult reward ratio. To use an example, consider a guild that primarily does normal mode content and eventually progress to heroic. This guild may have 6-7 normal armour by early January. They venture into heroic and kill 2 to 3 bosses there, and then went back and finished off Warcraft on normal. Along the way, they also got some item level 670 loot from garrison mission caches. Now, Foundry comes out. Just because this group killed a couple of heroic armour bosses after 2 months in the zone doesn't suddenly make them heroic guild. They will, appropriately, begin in normal Foundry. But their average item level, with mostly 655 items, some being 661 Warforged, and some 670 items from heroic armour, is likely to be around 661 or 662 as a raid group, and that simply doesn't leave much room for meaningful reward, and replacing a 670 non-set piece with a 665 set piece is likely a power upgrade, but also does not feel particularly satisfying. You can change the difficulties in the example above, and we see the exact same situation, with heroic guilds coming into heroic Foundry with an item level of 675 plus range, which again didn't leave much room for improvement. Now, Blizzard have gone to say that this doesn't really affect Mythic, because obviously how the progression system is working, Mythic being the very top of the tree, but it's unfair to buff everybody else by 5 levels, and not give the appropriate reward to the guys who have busted their asses and done Mythic. So they will also be getting the upgrade as well, which is cool. It's all good. I love this change. This is really, really good, because I mean, we've all had the issue where you've got a supposedly higher upgrade item, and the only way you can tell if it's actually better is to go into Simcraft. Now, this is still a problem. There are still some horrendous, your versatility and, I don't know, multi-strike item, and you're a warlock, and what you want is mastery and crit or whatever, and you're like, what the fuck? The intellect's better, the stam's better, it's a better item, the eye level's higher, but in fact, okay, I need to go and put this through the numbers to see if it's actually going to be a better piece. It's crazy, and it has been for ages. And this doesn't really help that situation. That's an issue with Blizzard taking out reforging and just having some crazy item set bonuses, which aren't great. Foundry does improve upon armour, most definitely, but it's still an issue. But this at least makes you think. It goes back to their difficulty-reward ratio. The way I want to put that is risk-reward. To go up the progression scale, if I go, okay, look, we can easily do Heimel now. We can farm the shit out of Heimel, but let's test ourselves. Let's learn the mechanics for these new bosses. Let's go into BRF. Let's, potentially get our tier pieces. But yet, with that comes the challenge of relearning all the new bosses, not being appropriately geared or being, over geared as you would be in Heimel, but having to go all through that process of getting people leveled up again, getting their gear better, and then, learning the tactics at the same time. You've got to go through all that, and you want, when you finally kill that boss, when you're there and you're with your raid group, you're going, yes, fuck you, we finally killed you, and an item drops. I don't want to be going into Simcraft going, is that item better? I want to feel that the item that's dropped, if I do win it, if it does finally come to me, I'm like, yes, fuck it, that's what I wanted, that's an upgrade, brilliant, thank you, Blizzard. Now, as I say, this won't stop the fact that they've put crazy stats on everything. It won't stop that at all. And obviously the annoyance that we can't reforge, which I get it, it's for, the newer players that were or older players that had left for a while and come back and they were like, what the fuck is this reforging shit? Every time I get a new bit, I don't want to have to go into Ask Mr. Robot and fucking reforge. Fuck that shit, Blizzard, I'm out of here, I can't be asked with that. It gets away with that. Also, people that were not hit capping. People that were boosting to 90, going into raids, and they weren't even hit capped. All sorts of crazy shit. I get why they've gone to this system. They've taken out the reforging, and we've now got these random secondary stats that we get. Okay, I can live with that, Blizz. I think the other issue, and why this has come up, is because of the garrison follower missions that you get. So I can be a normal raider, which is in essence what I am. I do normal and a little bit of heroic raiding, okay? I'm nothing fancy. But I've done enough normal kills now, and I've done enough heroic kills, that you start getting mythic gear, or you start getting heroic gear. You start getting these boxes come in that are giving you, and by now you've had maybe 2 or 3 of them. So 2 or 3 of the bits of gear you've got are heroic or mythic. And now I am a normal raider. That's my skill set. It's the skill set that people I raid with, okay? We're very casual, chilled out. So we go in and we do BRF on normal, which is dropping 655 gear. Well, I've got 670 gear. I've got mythic gear, stuff like that, and all of a sudden you're like, well, this doesn't make a lot of sense. So I get why they boosted the item. I think it's fantastic. Does it change the bigger issue of people having a sim card and everything? No, it doesn't. But at least it's a good sign that Blizzard are open to the fact that this system does need tweaking. We'll never go back to reforging. That's just not going to happen. And, you just have to suck it that a particular item that may be an upgrade, in fact, isn't, because, I don't know, Mastery might be your main stat, and the item you've got has got versatility, so fuck it. Even though it's an upgrade, I can't use it. That's still going to be, it's still going to be an issue until Blizzard really look at that, which I don't think we'll get, certainly this expansion. But, yeah, good news, guys, good news. So, if you have got a piece in your bag and you were like, well, I'm going to frag that, just hold off. Don't disenchant it just yet. Hold it in your bag, have a look, see what the stats are when this change comes in, see how much of the bump affects it. But, what are your thoughts on it, guys? Is it enough? Have they done enough with this system of bumping this up at 5 eye levels? Does that risk-reward there now? Are you still pissed with the way the stats work? You still fucked that reforging is gone. What do you think, guys? Does this system, this little change anything? Let me know what you think. Have a great one, and I'll catch you all later.